This world is a pyramid scheme in which you have the devil worshippers at the top who exploit the masses, which are more than 99%, and most of the 99% get along with it because they get narcissistic supply at the expense of those that are victimized. That is the world. That's all the world is. It's a pyramid scheme where the majority complies for the sake of narcissistic supply that they receive as reward for complying with society. That is why in every society there is one group of people that's always blamed for what goes wrong in that society. There's one group of people that's always seen as low. Why? This is designed this way so that others can feel at ease about themselves. And because they feel at ease, they're motivated to get along in society. As long as people get narcissistic supply, they don't care if they are being exploited. They don't care if they're being abused, and they don't care if they're being treated in a very bad way. It sounds strange, but that's how most people are. As long as they can look down on someone else to feel good about themselves, they are okay with most of the bad stuff done to them. Why? Because when they can look down on someone else, they feel at ease on the inside, and that becomes their drug. So they're addicted to narcissistic supply. That is the world. And worldwide, you have Africa, upon whom everyone looks down. Is it only Africa that has poverty? Is it only Africa that has, corruption? Is it only Africa that has chronic issues in society? No. There's poverty in Europe, there's corruption in Europe, and there are chronic issues in Europe also. You have them everywhere. Don't even talk about Latin America. There's a lot of corruption, a lot of instability over there. But as long as people can feel good about themselves and their communities because they're not associated with Africa, they will get along with exploitation, with abuse, because they're not Africa. The validation of not being Africa nor associated with Africa is what drives the world's population to comply with this world system. Here's the thing. In the Western world, and also in what they call the industrialized countries, you have a big revolt against the corporate banking system. You have the 1% that's resisted. You have a lot of revolts going on worldwide. Not only yellow vests, also in Latin America, also in Asia, you have people standing up. They're fed up. Hold on a minute. Why? All those decades that Africa was exploited, didn't anyone stand up for Africa? Are Africans less humans than we are? But now that their comfortable bubble is endangered, now they're upset with the 1% that exploits the world. Now that the exploitation harms them, now it's relevant. Oh, as long as it affects Africa, it's fine. You see how far this goes? This shows you the hypocrisy of worldly people. In general, they only care and are only concerned when it points to them. As long as something refers to them, they're all in it. If someone does not refer to them, for them it doesn't exist. For them it's BS, for them it's nonsense because it doesn't refer to them. That is worldly people. And to have such people in a group together, you need to have victims upon whom they can dump all the frustrations. Because worldly people, they can't handle frustration. They can't handle long-term difficulty. They can't. Why? Difficulty, you can overcome it if you are practical. But to be practical means you need to be responsible. And worldly people just want to be left alone. And because they just want to be left alone, difficulties tends to escalate. And when difficulties escalate, they want someone to dump it upon. Right now, on purpose, Africa is made into the cesspool of underdevelopment, even though there are African cities that are quite modern. But they never show you those. They always show you Africa in an impoverished state. Why? So that you would associate black people and everyone that's the center of Africa with poverty, with sickness, and with all the things you want to avoid in life. Why? Because once you do that, you will see them as a problem in the world, and you'll forget about the problems in your own community. It comes down to this. Worldly people are too coward to admit that there's reprobation in their community. They don't want to face that. So as long as they can look down on another group, they are fine. The moment you challenge this pyramid scheme, they turn on you. Because once you challenge the pyramid scheme, you now force them to look at themselves. It's not just only with Africans or black people. In every region in the world, you have this. You can be from some place in Central America, and you have people from some indigenous community that they get university degrees, they open their own businesses, and they're successful. But they're never invited to any TV show in Central America. You know why? Because they don't conform to the image of what society perceives as a successful man or woman. The society looks down on that indigenous community to feel good about themselves. So if someone from that community achieves something in life, that means that they need to alter how they view people from that background. But to alter how they view people from that background, that implies they need to face that they are looking down on those people, and then they need to justify why they're looking down on those people. And because you have people from that community that are successful and that made it in life, none of their excuse will work. So then they need to face about themselves they are narcissistic and that they just want to flee from responsibility. So if you are from a group that's targeted by society, you will have a hard time being at ease with your success. Everyone in the world will be challenged with violence once they become successful. That's how it goes in the world. But if you're from a background of people that are stigmatized, it will be far worse for you. And if you are a believer and you are from such a background, it's triple trouble. Why? Because the world cannot handle being challenged. They need to have someone to look down on. There needs to be a difference in their favor between them and the people to look down upon. That's what makes them feel good. That's what motivates them. That's why they want to be part of society. That's why they tolerate being told what to do by a boss from 9 to 5. That's why they tolerate that they are restricted by society. That's why they tolerate all those stuff, because at least they get recognition at someone else's expense. I'm telling you, believers, that is what the world is. So, don't let people fool you. This world cannot have any justice in it, because the moment you introduce justice in the world will not exist anymore. The world is a pyramid scheme. It can only continue because people enable the injustice. They participate in the injustice. That's why the world remains. And they blame the 1%. They blame dictators. They blame the military. I don't care about the involvement of the military, of the governments, all of that. Why are common people getting along with it? It is because they're cowards. They don't want to face themselves. They want all discomforts of life to be redirected to someone else. That is what it's all about. So see the world for what it really is. Be at peace.